Please rise for silent reflection and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Campion?
Here.
Mrs. King?
Here.
Mr. O'Brien?
Here.
Mr. Schuler?
Here.
Mr. Tinkin absent. Mr. Borba?
Here.
Mayor McConaughey?
Here, thank you. We're going to have Council President King read the statement. My glasses aren't working, right?
Batteries.
Pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice filed in the office of the Borough Clerk, posted on the Borough website, and on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Co-Star newspaper and mailed to those requesting notice and providing payment in accordance with borough policy.
Need a motion to approve the agenda?
Make that motion.
You have a second?
Second.
Do you have any questions? A roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Thank you. Now we're going to run through the minutes. First on the list would be August 13, 2013, the executive session. We need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
Second.
Do we have any questions?
Is it the 13th or the 18th? What did I say, 13th?
I think you need to amend the agenda to reflect the 19th.
It's the executive
You're
session.
absolutely
Is
right.
that the 19th or 13th?
My apologies, it is August 19th.
Thank you. August 19th, executive session. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Executive session for September 9th, 2013. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Do we have any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. September 9th, 2013, public session. Need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Thank you. Take it easy, guys. September 23rd, 2013, the executive and the public session. Need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The executive session for October 15th, 2013. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you. The October 15th, 2013, the public session. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Abstain.
Thank you.
October 28th, 2013, the public session. Need a motion and a second.
Make the motion.
Second it.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Abstain.
Thank you.
November 12th, 2013, the public session. Need a motion and a second.
Make that motion.
Second it.
And do we have any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Abstain.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borba?
Yes.
June 2nd, 2014. This is the special session. Need a motion in a second.
Tom, why don't you take?
I'll make the motion.
You get tired, Sarah?
I'll second it.
Do you have any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
I'll abstain.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borback?
Abstain.
And the October 13th, 2015 regular session.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Borback?
Abstain.
Thanks, Steve.
Mayor, if I can interrupt for 1 minute, I just want to say that with the approval of all of these minutes tonight, we are now current with all of our minutes.
Thank you for all your work, Janine.
It took a while to get there, but we did it. It was quite a time-consuming affair, but we're done. We're current.
Very good. Thank you, Janine.
I would
We
just
meet
like
our
to,
deadline.
I would just like to say, on behalf of the efforts that Janine put into this has been a very long and tedious process, and I know that she has worked very, very hard to complete all of this, and I think it's well-deserved if we give her a rounding applause to thank her very, very much, because she has.
Just go to stand up.
Thank you, Janine.
You're welcome.
All right. We don't have any presentations at this time, so we'll move right to the, we don't have no public hearing as well. We'll move to public comment, where you may speak on any agenda item. To step forward, give your name and address.
Cat Crippen, 56 More Atlantic Avenue. I would like to personally thank Janine for her hard work and her effort. I'm not loud enough, Janine?
She wants us
Well,
recorded.
especially since you're saying something about me.
She wants it on the record.
It's gonna be in the
Music in the background?
You cannot appreciate how much work Janine did put into this. She was here many, many nights when we were here with the Environmental Commission meetings. She was here working, and she would say, we would leave at 8:15, and she would say, oh, I'm gonna stay and just get another one done. She worked very, very hard. I did not personally enter lightly into the decision to bring a lawsuit against the borough on this. My husband and I tried every avenue first. We went to the State Department of Local Government Services, we went to the Clerks Association, we went to League of Municipalities, and every one of them said, it's a violation of the Open Public Meeting Act, go to the county prosecutor. Ultimately, we went to the county prosecutor, who issued a letter to the borough who said, you gotta stop doing this, and if you don't, you better get legal counsel. And that was exactly what happened. So the meeting minutes didn't produce. Somebody had to take a stand to shake him out of there. Now, the duties of the municipal clerk are so important. It is the only municipal job that has its job description in the state statute. So it is a statutory duty to do the minutes. The clerk is certified by the state in order to perform the duties. So I would like to say, and I know Janine is going to get embarrassed, but once again, Janine did an excellent, excellent job. At one point, I know she felt she was being a little swamped. I offered to renegotiate the date. We had a date, cutoff date of October 31st that she needed to be finished. She said, no, I'm getting them done by the date that we picked. And she did, and I appreciate that, and thank you. And now, regardless of who's up here or who's out there, there is now an enforceable agreement that we have that if in the future any council does not have meeting minutes up to date, any person can take my consent judgment, doesn't have to be me, it could be anybody, can take my judgment, go to freehold, file a motion for enforcement, and the council is gonna have to produce the meeting minutes. So hopefully, this lays to rest forever the problem of meeting minutes not getting produced in a timely manner. So thank you from behalf of the taxpayers.
I just want to add to that, I did, when I was here at night or on the weekends, I did it on my time, I wasn't paid for that. There's no overtime for me to do that, I did it on my own time.
Well, extra thanks for that.
And I just want the public to know there's no blame other than the person sitting right here takes full blame for minutes not being put out on time. So if anyone's assigned any, I'm responsible for it, and that's the way it went, all right? And no employee should be held responsible for the minutes not being on time. That was strictly my fault. And I apologize to the citizens for that.
Thank you, Rich.
Discussion, we have the best practice checklist.
You have
Or
to
do we have to
close.
close the public?
Ooh, I'm sorry. Anybody else have anything to say? Yes, we need a motion to close.
I'll make that motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
On the best practice checklist, I believe we're in good shape there.
Yes,
Jay, you have anything?
Mayor, this is one of the items that I don't want to take the thunder from from Brian. A week and a half ago, the Finance Committee met as we do normally at the end of each quarter. Part of that meeting included a review of the best practices. As I think both those of you that have been on the council for a number of years, I believe this is the 4th or 5th year the best practices procedure has been in place. This has been prepared by the CFO. It has been submitted to the State Division of Local Government Services. This process results in an adjustment to the final portion of our state aid, as little as that state aid is. In any event, we completed the process and have met the threshold, so there is no reduction in the state aid that is available to us. As indicated in the materials, the best practices is a 50-question survey that, based on positive answers, reflects, again, compliance with the borough with the best practices. And in this case, we were in compliance with 90% of those, and therefore, our state aid allotment has not been adjusted.
Yeah, and Jay put together a great presentation here. If you just look through it and you want to see which ones we didn't meet, it just is very clear with the no answers versus the yes answers and an explanation of why. So.
And it should be noted that 5 of these questions are new this year. And that has been the practice that each year there are new items that are thrown on the table for us to comply with, some of which we can comply with prospectively in the future. Some of the questions that have been repeats, we can no longer answer them prospectively. But in any event, we are in compliance with 90% of the best practices.
Again, the other thing is just, I mean, if you look through these questions and what we have to do to get 90% on it, you'll see that, I mean, it's not just a random checklist that just fill out paperwork. Like, if we're doing these things, it means that, you know, we are running a good financial ship. Just look through it and you can see that, like, we should be doing these things, whether we mark them off on the checklist or not. Most of them, I mean, I think there's a couple that are sort of, you know, but most of them are, you know, we should be doing anyway, so it's good that we need to.
Is there a copy out there so the public can see it?
There
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Jay. We do have some reports, third quarter revenue and budget, water sewer, the police report. Jay, you have any comments on those?
Mayor, again-
We're in good financial shape.
We are. A couple of things I'd like to point out, as I mentioned earlier. These were also discussed and reviewed at the finance meeting a week and a half ago. The first sheet of the third quarter reports, this report is actually presented to the council on a monthly basis to track all of our major areas of revenue, and they are on track to meet our projections for the budget year. So we don't see any surprises there. Likewise, on the summary budget report that is submitted, you can see that there are a couple of line items, budget lines that we expect we will be making some minor transfers into near the end of the year. But overall, we are right on track. In fact, considering that as of September 30, we are at 75% of the year complete. Overall, across the board, we are at 68% of our projections as far as the spending side. So both on the revenue side as well as on the appropriation side, we are right on track. There are a couple of line items that we refer to as being front-end loaded, where early in the year those expenses take place. Specifically, some of our insurance costs are front-loaded, but we do appear to be in very good shape to get through the budget year without any major issues.
Yeah, if you're looking through this report, the easiest way for me anyway, to kind of figure out what's going on, the first column is budgeted, and then three columns over, there's an expended. So it shows you how much we spent year to date versus the budget, and that's kind of what you want to look at. And like Jay said, for the most of them, they're right around 70 to 80% where they should be. The ones that aren't are more likely the front-loaded ones.
Thank you for that. And I skipped the council reports.
Well, before you go back to the report, the other item that is also financially related is the water sewer utility, our revenue projection, and again, this reflects the bills that most of you have now received. I think actually you have all received, and that is technically our fourth quarter billing, because we received that, that's the fourth bill that is presented to our utility users in this calendar year. That reflects the base charges for the October, November, December quarter, but more importantly, it includes the excess charges, if any, for the summer months. And overall, just to point out that our total billing this year compared to last year is down approximately 1.7%. But the third quarter excess charges, summer months, are actually up about just under 5% in our excess charges. So that has evened out our revenues projection for the year. And again, that's a reflection of the hot weather, the dry weather that we had starting really in July. So again, our utility revenues are right on projection, and we do expect that we will meet, if not exceed, the revenue by the end of the year. The billing is one component. From a budget standpoint, because we operate on a cash basis, what's more important is the payments that are actually received before the end of the year. But based on prior experience and the billing amounts, we do expect that our revenues will meet our budget projections in the current year.
Jay, this projected surplus, this is for the year, or this is year-to-date for the first 3 quarters?
That actually would be for the year.
So that's for the full year?
Right.
Okay, so that's a good spot to keep recouping that and building that for the repairs that we want to do in the future with the main sewer line that needs to be replaced at some point in the next 5 to 10 years and the other work that needs to be done.
That's correct.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Jay. I apologize, I skipped the council reports. Councilman Campion.
I don't have much this evening. The first one was, I was asked a question about the last meeting we did, and we have another one tonight on the reduction of the water sewer for certain people and where that comes about and why we do that, and we should probably explain that when we vote on it. That's typically a situation where somebody had an issue inside their house, either, can you hear me okay, Gladys? Can you hear me okay? Yes. Okay, just making sure, I see you, I just want to make sure I'm loud enough. That's typically a case where somebody has a burst pipe or some unforeseen event where we'll give them a one-time credit for the water, but most of that is usually an adjustment to the sewer that we know did not go through the processing plant, so Jay will use his best judgment to allocate it accordingly. So most of what we adjust is the sewer side that did not go through the system, did not get treatment, therefore there's not an expense related to it, so we adjusted on that, and then a small amount for the water depending on where it goes. So when you see those adjustments, that's typically what it's for. I will try and explain them as they come up based on, or I'll point to Jay and let him explain it, but that's what that was in the last meeting when we made those adjustments for those 4 accounts. Those were issues of frozen pipe, burst pipe, or some unrelated loss of water that did not go through the sewer system. And the other was hydrants that are out of service. We know we did flushing in early October, late September. As part of that process, they exercise all the hydrants, they open them, they close them. Incidentally, they will find ones that don't work properly and will get marked as out of service. So if you see the ring on the front, it says it's out of service. In some cases, it may not be fully out of service, but for the fire department side, if it's not 100% reliable, if they had a fight to open it, it's marked out of service until we can get to it. Joe has the list, Jay has the list. They triage what the most priority hydrants are based on how easy it is to fix, how hazardous the area is, if there are ones on either side, if there's two on a street that are out, they'll try and get one of those up quick. They are being worked on, but if you keep seeing rings on one near you, it's not that they're being ignored, it's just a matter of we're working on other ones at a time. Did I miss anything on that? Okay, very good, I am done.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Corbett.
Nothing to report.
Councilwoman King.
Nothing to report.
Councilman Schuler.
Nothing to report.
And Councilman O'Brien.
We already went through my report.
Sarah, Veterans Lunch.
Okay, thank you.
You got one.
Okay.
Good. All right, thank you very much. I will move to the resolutions. First would be Resolution R 2015-139, establishing a curfew for Halloween, which is 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Need a motion and a second?
Make that motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Horvath?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
And just for the record, everybody who's here, that's the 29th, 30th, and 31st from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m.
If you're under 18.
If you're under 18, sorry.
Oh,
You're good, Robert.
you have to be this tall.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-1 city, 160. I think I have to go need a little rest. Approving the use of the community center.
You need a motion?
Yes, motion and a second.
Yes, for Waterford at the Spring Heights Condominium Association, I say, yeah, I motion it.
Okay.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Horvath?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-161, making the adjustment to a water sewer account.
This is exactly what I just spoke about.
Yes. Need a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Yes.
I'll second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Horvath?
Yes.
Motion
Thank you. Resolution R 2015-162, approving the payments for October 22nd, 2015. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Any questions on the bills? Roll call, please.
Mr. Campion?
Yes.
Mrs. King?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Schuler?
Yes.
Mr. Horvath?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Reached the point of the meeting where you have a public comment. You may speak on any item you like. Step forward, give your name and address.
Rich Carriger, 916 Prospect Avenue. Just to give you a little update on the Veterans Luncheon, and I know you'll be tired of hearing from me until Veterans Day.
No.
Not at all.
But
No.
anyway, the response have been coming in on a daily basis. It's an ongoing process, and we're pleased with the progress. I would just like to take a minute to thank the mayor and the council for your support. And I know the mayor is a battle-tested Vietnam veteran. When I say battle-tested, I'm not referring to your tenure in office yet. And also Councilman Schuler and O'Brien have served in the military. Now, what was that, Jim?
Just above all.
Anyway, and of course, the staff, Jay Delaney and Janine Gillis, who've been working hard on this, I know, updating reports every day. And of course, Eileen Eilenberger, whose work was largely unnoticed. She ties a lot of loose ends together. And also the community. The very generous support from the community, whether it's businesses or private individuals. And the community's behind us 100%. And the veterans themselves, thank them, whether they can attend or not. You know, some of them may have physical scars or disabilities. Some may have mental scars, which are not always visible. But again, you know, it's our way of showing that the community cares about its veterans. And, you know, that's about it. And anybody who wants to respond, to attend, please do so by November 4th to the Borough Hall, either in person or by telephone. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rich.
Push. If I can, something I wanted to bring up before, if you don't mind, because I think people may have comments on it, is I wanted to ask Jay earlier if he could explain a little bit about this tax program and the stuff that's going on and what it does for us and how we came to be involved with the company we're involved with, just in case anybody here has questions or want to ask. I just want to see if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll finish with the public comment. Then if Jay, you don't mind, you can.
Okay.
Don't mind at all.
Okay.
Cat Crippen, 564 Atlantic Avenue. I wanted to ask about the rather conspicuous absence of one of the council members who, in reviewing old council meeting tapes, I noticed it's been August since Mr. Tinkin has joined us here. And I did hear rather disturbing comments over the weekend that Mr. Tinkin and his family have moved to Italy for the duration of the year. Does anybody, like, how can he discharge his, I guess this is a lawyerly question, how can he discharge the duties of council if he's not in the country?
I don't know.
I mean, aren't there some?
I don't know, he's not in the country, and I haven't reviewed that issue.
Aren't there some things that you need like 2/3 vote for? So what would happen in that case? Do you just go with the quorum that's here?
Well, I think that's what we'd be forced to do. If we didn't have enough, we couldn't address that issue at that time, sure.
Just as a point of information, I did receive an email from Councilman Tinkin that he was on a trip and his flight incoming tonight was not gonna be here and he would not make tonight's meeting.
Okay, well, somebody may want to follow up with him because I understand that he took a job with a school in Italy and he will be there for the rest of the year. So, you know, what happens to the recreation program if the fearless leader of recreation is not here and there's questions? So I just wanted to see if you knew about that. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak? Need a motion to close the public session?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Dave, would you like to explain about the assessments?
Sure. Just, I know there have been numerous newspaper articles in the past couple of weeks regarding the assessment demonstration project or program commonly referred to as the ADP. From our standpoint, in the Borough of Spring Lake Heights, this process started almost 2 years ago when the Monmouth County Tax Board elected to opt in to this demonstration program. And as a result, the assessment demonstration program really has three primary facets. The first is that if there's a change in the assessment calendar as well as the dates for filing appeals. In the past, property owners would receive a postcard on an annual basis to February 15th or thereabouts, and advising them of what their assessment would be for that current year. And then taxpayers would have until April 1st to file tax appeals. Under the new program, the tax assessment notification cards go out November 15th, and property owners have until, I believe it's January 15th to file tax appeals. Now, the purported advantage to the borough of that process is that under the old calendar, our budget would be introduced prior to the time that tax appeals would be decided. So when we would adopt our budget in May or June, and the tax rate would be determined not only for local taxes, but also for the school and the county taxes, those tax rates and the revenues that would be generated from those rates were based on the assessments that were in effect as of January 1st. Under the new program, the assessments are finalized for the year at the conclusion of the tax appeal season, which predates the date when budgets are finalized. From the municipality standpoint, that difference means that under the old system, we would collect taxes based on old assessments. But, let me go back. The tax assessments would determine what the school and county taxes would be. But as a result of appeals, property owners would pay a reduced amount. What ended up happening is the municipality, as the collector of the taxes, would make up that difference. So even though we would only be collecting the taxes based on an assessment that resulted from an appeal, we would be paying to the county and the school the full boat for the taxes. So that had an impact on our collection rate as well as our reserve for uncollected taxes. The second major facet of the assessment demonstration program is that it authorized the assessor on an annual basis to make adjustments to the assessments. In theory, both up and down. And I think we've all had experiences where a revaluation was done throughout a town only to find that in hindsight, that was done at the peak of the market, and when the market declines, the assessor had no ability to go back and adjust assessments downward, resulting in numerous tax appeals that created this cycle all over again. The third major aspect of the assessment demonstration program is that it requires municipalities on a 5-year cycle to inspect all properties in the town. Previously, properties were only inspected at the time a reassessment or revaluation was done. Typically, those happened on a schedule of 7 to 10 years. Anytime total valuation in a municipality would drop to 80% of true value, the county tax board would order the municipality to undertake a reassessment or revaluation. Typically, the cost of that reval process would be about $80 per property. The last one we did here in town cost the municipality about $160,000 to $170,000. Under the assessment demonstration program, municipalities were required to enter into contracts with inspection firms that would do these inspections, as I said, on a 5-year cycle. So each year, on average, 20% of the properties would be inspected. A year and a half ago, we went out to bid. We requested proposals from inspection companies. We received one bid. That bid was from Realty Data Systems, a company that has been the subject of some of the newspaper articles. That price was $21 per property. So for the past 2 years, we've had 20% roughly in each of those years' inspections. So as of the end of this year, approximately 40% of our properties will have been inspected. Presumably, under our contract, which has 1 more year to run, we will complete an additional 20% inspections next year, at which time the contract also has a provision for 1-year options at the option of the borough to extend those inspections with the same company for the same price. So those are the 3 major changes to the assessment process as a result of this assessment demonstration program, which again has been the subject of newspaper articles and some criticism. But the point that I would like to make is that first of all, we were ordered to do the program because the county tax board on a county-wide basis implemented the program. We did go to bid. We unfortunately received only 1 quote, although the quote was approximately what we expected that price to be based on the preliminary information that was coming. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
You said we're through 3 years, and then each year after that is a 1-year option?
We're, as of the end of 2015, we will have completed the 2nd year. We signed a 3-year contract with the company, so we're under contract until the end of 2016. Our contract also provides 2 1-year options at the option of the borough to extend those inspections with the same company.
So, I guess my first question is, have we had any anomalies, or has anything come out of the last 2 years that would make you suspect of anything that might be off?
Generally,
Is
no.
it the normal process? I know we went through the books and we had looked at some of the values and everything seemed to be...
Yeah, last year, as of January 1st, when the assessor, that was the first time that our local assessor made adjustments to property values. I asked him what the changes were. And the information he provided indicates that 51% of the properties saw some increase in assessment last year, and 49% of the properties saw either a decrease in their assessment or no change at all. So that's about what we would expect to see in any time you do either a reassessment or a retooling of the assessments within the town. Not all properties go up in value at the same rate. nor do they come down in value at the same rate. So that looked about right.
But we're aware they are doing inspections, and we know that because we've gotten phone calls from people showing up, and we know that they're physically doing that, correct?
That's
So
correct.
there's been no question about that. And just my last statement, just to clarify, if anything does come to a head and more comes of this, we can easily just not renew for another year next year, and we're done.
That's correct.
Well, Jay, hold on. At the time, we were told that there were going to be multiple companies that could bid with. And we were also arm twisted, basically told that we had to vote for this. So I don't know if we could just drop this company because we were forced to vote on this.
Well, I think the reason I
Well, just so that we were forced to vote on it, so if it wasn't a democratic process to begin with, I don't know that it's, we're going to have the ability to opt out.
I guess my question was, because people had asked me on the way in, and I have been asked over the last week of, can we do anything to get out of this? And I know that getting out of a 5-year contract is not as easy as we're mad at you, we're leaving.
Right.
So knowing that if over the course of the next year, something were to change at the county level where they say, okay, we made a mistake, you on your municipalities can handle it as you see fit, we can at that point have a discussion. If we decide to opt out, we just don't renew.
If all that is true.
Okay.
But not opt out of the program, just opt out of this company.
I agree with that. I think the idea of the 5-year assessment, based on the way Jay explained it, to not get hit over a certain period when the county says after 10 years you're out of whack by 40%, you're over the 80, you need to do it now. Now we have to take the big budget hit, and everybody gets shock value when they come and do a massive reassessment. I like the idea of the rolling assessment, and I mean, being at 25% of what we paid for 100% of the town inspection seems to make sense. It's just, there's a lot of stuff floating around that people have a lot of concerns, and I'm sure you're doing the same thing I am right now, and you're fielding a lot of the same questions, and I think that we owe it to our residents here to have an answer for them.
But I mean, I agree with you that it's an expensive way to raise taxes, but if we're going to be paying our school taxes through our property taxes, the best way that we can do it is to make sure that every house is assessed at 100% of its value so that everybody's paying their fair share. And I don't see a better way to do it than having a regular assessment. So, and just the other question I had for you was, so I think you said when they do the 20% inspections, they can reevaluate the whole town, right?
Well, there has, from the beginning, there has been what I would call a misconception that the inspections are tied to the change in the assessment. They are really not connected in the sense that the assessor can review every property in town and in fact should review property values of all properties in town and make adjustments each year, regardless of whether that particular property was inspected this year,
So
last
just
year.
because
or next year.
I mean, just because it's only 20% inspection, it's not tied to the amount of houses that get reassessed.
That's correct.
That's the point I wanted to
When they do
Okay, thank you.
When they do the physical assessment, when do they notify you? In November?
Well, the process for the physical inspection, they started back in August. Property owners were, they received a postcard notification indicating that somebody would stop by. And the first inspection attempt, I would describe it as a shotgun approach. They said, we're going to be out there in a couple of weeks. They would hit or miss. And if they were able to get into the property, they would do the inspection. If they were unable, either because there was no one home or the property owners, it was not a good time, they would leave information where the property owner could then essentially schedule an inspection.
Right.
So that process has gone through. And offhand, I do not recall the requirement, but the plan requires that they attempt to do at least the 20% each year, and I believe they're required to perform 85%, sticks in my head, have to be completed where they actually do get in to do them.
Yeah, I understand this, but once they inspect your house, they get access, you let them in. How long does it take before you know if you're going up or down?
Okay, the assessor will be sending out postcard notifications, as has happened in the past. Those go out no later than November 15th to every property in town.
So if you have inspection in the summertime, it's going to, or June or whatever, it's going to be November?
That's correct.
Okay.
And that tells you what the assessor is planning on putting on the books for your property as the assessment for 2016, which then gives you until January to file a bid.
Yeah, if I may, what happened now, the assessor came to my house, and no problem, he came in, tapped stuff into his iPad or whatever, and went off. Now, some of my neighbors are part-time residents. What happens if their schedule and the assessor's schedule cannot sync up to do a physical?
If a resident either refuses to allow the inspector in, or the inspector is unable to get in, for
At the
whatever
appropriate
reason,
time.
then it's up to the assessor to make a best guess estimate as to what the interior is. And typically, I think when our assessor was here, as well as Matt Clark from the county, they will assume, I guess, I don't know whether it's a worst case scenario or a best case scenario.
The Taj Mahal.
But they will assume that it's built to the highest standard. And therefore, putting the burden now on the property owner to file an appeal if the assessment is out of whack.
Anything else? Thanks, Jeff. Well, the important thing that for the residents to know, we're not gonna escape it, whether it's the new plan or the old one. We're still gonna get hit sooner or later. I believe the new plan's a little better than the old system anyway.
It's
My
cheaper.
own- That's my own opinion. Jim?
I believe it's cheaper than the old plan, and, you know, like they did it last time at the top of the market,
Yeah, right, that's
and
right.
then the market goes kaput, and you're sitting there paying.
So far, it appears to be cheaper, but we're only in year 2 of 5
It's
years.
easier to budget for.
Yeah, it is easier to budget for. We have.
We know it's coming every year.
Yeah.
We have budgeted the last 2 years. And the point that I think everyone has made is that there are, whether you're talking about a reassessment, revaluation by an outside company or these inspections, there are limited number of firms out there that do this work in the state of New Jersey. Most of them are more regional. They focus on certain areas of the state. So it is not uncommon, whether in our situation or our experience where we most recently went out and requested proposals, we only had one company bid. When you go out and do a reassessment or revaluation, it is also not uncommon to find only 1 or 2 companies that are bidding.
Jay, I'm curious on something, the random selection, is that by area or is it just all over the whole town?
Yeah, it is actually not random in the sense that the assessor with the inspection company decided very early on to start at block 1, lot 1, and just go through the tax list on that basis. There are a couple of adjustments to that, and I guess the best example I'll use is that, for instance, it wouldn't make sense to split Fairway Mews and do half this year and half next year because of the nature of that development, or if there were other neighborhoods where houses were developed and built around the same time and are all of the same style. It would make sense to do those sort of in a neighborhood grouping. But generally, it was starting just the numerical sequence of our properties in town, start at the page 1 and hit the first 20%, and then the second year do the second 20%.
Okay, and the other question I have is, since you are the borough administrator in contact with other borough administrators in the area, do they have the same company, and is there the same concern of what's been published in the newspapers and so on and so forth?
If you recall, when we went out to bid in July of 2014, and we only received the 1 quote, we reviewed that rather closely for that concern. In fact, there were members of the council that expressed substantial reservations about pursuing it on that basis. At that time, we learned that all the municipalities directly in the area, our neighbors, it again was the same company. The only exception to that was Manasquan. They had a different company that was the low bid for them.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jay. Does anybody else have anything before we adjourn? Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
No, do we close it?
He made a motion, right? I'll second
Yeah,
it.
we closed the public, yeah, I should make a motion to close.
Okay, sorry about that.
Tom? Yeah. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it then.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.